we just had our very first snow, which means you and I are going to be revisiting some of our favorite winter and holiday crafts together today. Yes! We're going to be making planet ornaments. We're going to be making snow inside. We're gonna do an amazing Christmas tree drawing. We're gonna make an entire gingerbread house with candy to decorate it, except everything's made out of clay. And we're gonna make paper beads out of leftover wrapping paper. While you're watching, don't forget to look out for Cartoon Kylee, Cartoon Dax, and of course, Cartoon Hash Brown. Remember, like and subscribe if you like making stuff with me, because you know I like making stuff with you. Let's do this. Hi, it's me, Kylee, and I'm so excited you're here because today, my friend, there's something in the maker box. I love the maker box. Oh. Huh. It's these like marbly things on some sort of wire. What's this? A battery pack. A battery pack! How many batteries would we need to put into this pack? Let's see. 1, 2, 3. 3 batteries. Maker box, you really take care of us. All right, let's see. Each battery has 2 different sides. There's a side with a little bump. That's called the positive end of the battery, and bloop, 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 there's a side that is flat, and that's called the negative end. If you look at a battery pack, there's a little spring, boing, boing, and that is where the negative end goes. Ready to put them in? Okay, let's see. Spring, negative. 1. Spring is up here, negative right here, okay. 2, and then spring, negative, okay. 3. Oh, we need to turn it on. Okay. What do you think is going to happen when the power from these batteries goes to these marbles? Only one way to find out for sure. Whoa! They light up. As I suspected, these are not normal marbles, and this is not a normal wire. These are lights, and this wire helps bring the electricity to them. That's amazing. Have you ever seen anything like this? It reminds me of a tradition that my family has. Your family or friends probably have some traditions too. These remind me of Christmas trees, which is a tradition my family has. Every year in December, we put up Christmas trees in our house. And last year, we let Dax pick out his very own Christmas tree for his bedroom, a little one, and he got to keep it in there all season. He got to decorate it however he wanted. Wow. I have an idea. What if this year we made some very special ornaments for Dax's tree? If you've been watching this show before, what is something that Dax loves that would make incredible hanging ornaments that would go wonderfully with this marbly lights on a Christmas tree? Planets. What if you and I went to the studio and made solar system ornaments? That would be so cool. And you can use these even if you're not decorating a Christmas tree. You could hang them from the ceiling. You could hang them from your bed. You could hang them from your ears as very fancy earrings. I don't know, but let's go. Come on. All right. I dug out Dax's old Christmas tree, which it's awesome because it looks very galactic, doesn't it? It's all shiny and silver like space. I'm gonna floof it out a little. One of our traditions that we have when we put our Christmas tree up is we listen to Christmas music. I wonder if in any of the traditions your family has, music is an important part. That looks great. All right, let's put our lights on. One of my favorite things about having traditions is that when you do something every year or every week or whatever, you get all of these memories, like these really good stories too. For example, when I was a little girl, the family I grew up in, we also put up Christmas trees. That was also part of my family's tradition. And we lived in this house with a very, very high ceiling. And so at my dad's house, we used to go get the biggest, tallest tree out of the woods and cut it down. So we'd put it up, and then we put the lights on and ornaments. But I remember one year we had cats. I had a pet cat. His name was Kissy. And Kissy decided that he wanted to climb the Christmas tree in our living room. And so he went right up the trunk and he almost knocked it down. And so every year after that, it became a tradition to tie our very tall Christmas tree to the rafters so it wouldn't fall over if my cat climbed it. Do you have any stories from traditions you've had with your family or friends? It's good to remember that sometimes it's the things that go wrong during our traditions that make the best stories and memories later. Like the cat almost knocking over the Christmas tree was a little at the time, but now it's one of my best memories. Funny, right? All right, we got our lights on. Our tree is looking real cool. I'm gonna put it aside so that we can start to paint our solar system. For our solar system today, I found these really cool plastic ornaments that come in half. So even if Christmas isn't part of your tradition, around Christmas time is a great time to shop for this craft because these are everywhere. One thing I like about them is that they come in half so we can paint them separately and then put them together and hang them on our tree. So excited. Let's get our paint out. My palette is all loaded up and it's time to start painting. Look at all these colors I put on here. We have yellow, orange, red, purple, blue, light blue, dark blue, green, gray, silver, which is a metallic paint. It looks really shiny, white, brown, and black. And we'll be mixing these up to get different variations as we paint. I cannot wait. I have all the sizes that we need for each of the planets right here. Where should we start? Maybe at the beginning. Mercury is the smallest planet. It's gray and rocky. So we'll probably be using these colors over here to paint Mercury. One thing that's kind of fun about painting this way is we're painting kind of backwards. Usually we put a base coat down and then we add layers on top of that, adding our details at the very end. Because these are clear, we're going to start with our details and work backwards. So the side we see when we're painting is actually going to be the back. What we put down first is what's going to show through the plastic. Let me give you an example. I am going to start by painting some craters. I'm going to use gray, but make it a little bit darker by adding black. That's called making a shade. Now, I'm going to go in and paint some craters on Mercury. Oh yeah, that's looking awesome. All right. Now I'm going to add some high spots by using my metallic silvery paint. Do you see how it's coming through on this side? My first layer of Mercury's details need to dry before I put on my next layer. So let's move on to the next planet, Venus. Dax taught me the other day that it rains acid on Venus. Acid rain. Ugh. Looks cool, right? Venus. I'm gonna make a lighter yellow by mixing white and yellow together. This is called making a tint of yellow.
See how it looks a little bit different? All right, there's our first coat for Venus. Next up, do you know the third planet from the sun? Earth. When you look at it from outer space, I mean, I've never done that personally, I've just looked at pictures, you can kind of see some clouds swirling over the whole thing. So we're gonna actually start with our clouds, because that's what's gonna be on the outside. We have to start with our outside details. We'll start with some white and just swirl it around like this every once in a while. All right, we'll wait on these for our next coat. Next up, Mars, a rocky red planet. Mars looks red because there's a lot of iron in the dirt. I'm gonna take red and mix in a little bit of this brown. Oh yeah. I'm gonna use my brush like this to make a texture that looks kind of bumpy. That's my first coat for Mars. Next is the biggest planet, so the biggest ornament, Jupiter. One of my favorite things about painting the planets is painting Jupiter's big red spot. I don't know why, I just always really like that part. Red spot. Now I'm gonna mix up different shades where we add black and tints where we add white to this brown to make different values of brown for our planet Jupiter. Looking good, Jupiter. Do you know what planet's next? I'll give you a hint. It has rings on it. Not rings for your fingers, rings for the planet. It's Saturn. So I'm gonna start with a tint. Do you remember how we make a tint? White. White and the color. All right, so we got a light yellow. And then I'm going to add some light brown, the tint of the brown to my yellow. This is gonna make a whole new color, which I really like. Kind of a sandy color. Ooh, I like how that looks when you spin it. Next up is the planet Uranus. Uranus is a light blue and it's really smooth. That's because it's an ice giant. So cold. It's not real bumpy, it's really smooth. So we're gonna make a light blue or just use this light blue that I got from the bottle. Because it's so smooth, we don't really need a lot of details on Uranus. We're just gonna fill it up. And same with Neptune, except Neptune is dark blue. Neptune is the last major planet in our solar system. Detail layer is still drying, so while we wait, I'm gonna cut some embroidery floss, which is what this is called, to use as the hanging part on my ornament. Christmas tree, would you hold these, please? Thank you. I think we're ready to move to phase 2. Now that we have our detail layer done, we can go in with our base layer. See how it's kind of backwards from normal? So I'm just gonna take this regular gray and paint the base layer over the top of our detail layer. And look, you can still see our details even though I'm painting over the top of it. See? Because Mars is pretty rocky, I'm gonna make a shade, add black, to this gray again. And I'm actually gonna go in like this with my brush and make some more rocky texture in there. See that? When that dries, we'll add one more base layer and I think Mercury will be done. Venus is looking awesome. I'm gonna go add just one coat inside of white. see the difference when I added that white? Ah, I love that. Time for Earth. We got our clouds in and they're dry. Now we need to add our land and then our water. You can get very exact about the land masses on Earth. If you want to, you could look at a globe or a global map. I'm just kind of gonna go abstract today, which abstract means it's based on a real thing, but it doesn't look super realistic. So I'm just gonna kind of put in blobs of Earth. But if you wanted to put in the exact continents, you go. I'm just gonna go like this. Blah, 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 blah. See how the clouds still show up, even though we're painting green right over the top? Love it. For Mars, I'm just going to put in another layer of our bright red. Because remember, we made that shade for the bumpy parts? And then we can still see our bumpy parts, and it's getting brighter and brighter red. Ooh, 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 Mars. Jupiter. Look, I got a red spot on me just like Jupiter when I was painting Mars. For Jupiter, I'm actually going to use this kind of sandy color that we made for Saturn and just finish up these stripes. Oh yeah, that looks great. Ooh, let's put it together. I can't wait. Wow. Because the paint is on the inside, the outside is all shiny and perfectly smooth. Can't wait for you to dry. Saturn. We're gonna make a tint of our brown and add more yellow. We're just gonna make it a little bit darker than what we did last time. All right. The sound effects really help when you paint. Hey, Uranus, get over here. All right, we're just gonna do another coat of this light blue. These last planets don't have a lot of details, so we just need to put some more paint on there to make it more opaque. Opaque just means how much you can see through it. So, for example, right now, Earth is pretty transparent, which is the opposite of opaque. But the more paint we add, the more opaque it is. Can you see the difference? There's not as much light getting through. Opaque, transparent. Neptune, last planet, dark blue. Let's do it. Look at that. A perfect blue planet. Cool. All right, as those dry, I'm just gonna go back and add the final coats on a couple of these earlier ones. Let's see, Mercury, Earth, and I think Mars needed another coat. Are they dry? Are they ready? Are you dry? Are you ready? All right, the planet ornaments are all painted. It's time to put them together and put the strings on to hang them with. Whoa! I guess I got a little carried away when I was putting on the finishing details to the base coats. They're all mixed up. Well, will you help me put them together? Thanks. Okay, first up is the planet Mercury. It is small and gray. Oh, here's one half of it. Can you find the other Mercury half? Here it is. All right, let's put them together and see the planet Mercury. Wow. Let's put the string on. And tie it in a knot. Mercury. What do we need to find next? Mercury. Venus. Yellow. Do you see another yellow medium-sized planet? Oh! All right, let's check this out. Whoa. I think this might be my favorite one today because it's my favorite color. Yellow. Next is Earth. blue and green, medium size. Here it is. Put them together. The planet Earth. Mercury, Venus, Earth, Mars. Small, red. Here's one half. There you are, Mars. All right, here we go. Wow. Mars. Jupiter, the biggest. Easy. Boom. Saturn is next. All right, here's Saturn, but it's not done, is it? We need to make some rings for Saturn. I'm going to make them out of craft foam. Put one half of it on our paper. Trace it, which just means go around the edge. Cool. We can put this back together now. That will let you know how wide the opening needs to be to fit in the planet. So I'm gonna cut about 1 inch wider than that for my rings. And then cut out the inside. Rings and all. Uranus is the light blue planet. Last but not least, Neptune. Would you look at these amazing ornaments? I think they look so cool. Want to try them on the tree? Or should we wait for Dax? Oh! Let's just try one. And then we will show them to Dax together when he gets home from school. Deal? Okay, which one do you want to try? How about Saturn? Amazing! I can't wait for Dax to decorate his tree this year. Let's go get him.
Oh, there it is. The gas giants are too heavy. Jupiter is too heavy. Earth is the only planet that has life on it. Where is the sun? Venus.
What do you think about your Christmas tree?
Good. And I decorated one more thing.
What else are you gonna make?
The sun. I'm making a sun on the top of the tree. Because the sun is a star. I'm making it bigger. It's a super yellow and orange hot star. Is this going down? Rockets and Did you forgot somebody?
Who did I forget?
Pluto and the moon.
Hi friends, it's me, Kylie, and I'm so excited you're here. I want to tell you about something so cool that happened. So the other day, Dax and Hash Brown and I were just hanging out when I looked out my window and I saw something amazing. Huge, fluffy flakes of snow. So much of it coming down. It was the first snow of the year. It was so exciting. We hurried up, we put on all our warm clothes, we went outside and played in it.
The grass is done.
We even made a very leafy snowman because there were still leaves on the ground from fall.
So I really wanted to take you out and play with it, but then the snow melted, which got me thinking about weather. You and I are going to make some snow together today, but first we need to learn a little bit about weather. If you can see outside right now, look out your window. There's 4 things that you can observe or notice about the weather. Number 1, the temperature. Is it very hot or very cold? Number 2, is it sunny or cloudy? How cloudy, how sunny? That's something you can also observe about the weather. Number 3, the wind. Is it super windy or no wind at all? Or somewhere in between. And then the 4th thing that you can observe about weather is whether or not there's any precipitation coming from the sky. Precipitation is just water in various forms falling from clouds. So rain, sleet, hail, or snow. Now that we understand that, to the studio! Let's make it. Welcome to the studio, or should I say weather lab? Because before we make our snow today, let's understand a little bit more about how snow is made in nature. To do that, we need to start with water, because water is a key component for how snow is made. The first thing we need to know is that water comes in 3 forms. There's a liquid form, which is the kind we drink. There's a solid form, which we call ice. Sometimes we put that in our water when we're gonna drink it to cool it down. And then there's a gas form, or water vapor. If we use really hot water, we can see this. Ready? Do you see that steam that's coming up off the water? It's hard to see, and it goes away really quickly as the water cools down into liquid form. But I can still see a little bit of gas coming off of the water. This is an important part of how snow is made because it's an important part of how clouds are made. To demonstrate this today, we're gonna do a cool and beautiful experiment. We're gonna make a cloud in this jar. To make your own cloud in a jar, you're going to need a jar, hot water, ice. I'm gonna use a little bit of food coloring just so we can see it a little bit better, but that's optional, and some hairspray. I'm gonna start with the food coloring. I'm gonna grab my hairspray, my lid, and my hot water, because we need to go real fast on this. Ready? Hot water going in, hairspray going in. We're gonna put some ice on the top lid. Observe what's happening inside of our jar. Do you see the cloud forming in there? Do you see it swirling all around? This experiment works just how real clouds work. First, the sun or some other heat source heats up the water on the earth, like the ocean or a lake or a river. That liquid water then becomes a gas. When it gets heated up, it turns into water vapor, just like this kettle turned our water into water vapor. That water vapor goes up, 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 up. Then those small water vapor particles find something in the atmosphere to bind onto. It might be some dust or pollen in the air. In our case, it was hairspray in the jar. Those water vapor pieces bind on, and then they become a cloud. A big fluffy cloud or a wispy cloud. There's so many different kinds of clouds. Ready? What does this have to do with snow, you ask? Well, if it's cold enough on the ground, and if it's cold enough way up in the sky, those little tiny water vapor particles that have clung onto something freeze, and they become an ice crystal. that ice crystal might attract other ice crystals, and they lump together until they're so heavy that they fall out of the cloud onto the ground, making snow. For this activity with snow, you're going to need some dark construction paper. I'm using black, some cotton swabs, some glue, and scissors. Scientists say that it would be very hard for there to ever be two snowflakes that were exactly alike. That being said, there are some things that are true about all snowflakes. For example, all snowflakes have 6 sides. There's also general classifications that certain shapes of snowflakes have been called. We're going to talk about 2 today. One is the simplest shape of a snowflake, which is called a plate. Do you know what a shape with 6 sides is called? A hexagon. A hexagon, or a plate snowflake, looks like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sides. The snowflakes that I love to make are called dendrite snowflakes, and they're the kind that have legs. So if we started with this basic plate, we could add in little legs or arms of a snowflake, just like that. Then we could keep adding because water molecules come together in all sorts of different combinations to make beautiful snowflakes. Once you decide on your design, glue it down. Then you can keep your snowflake and it won't even melt. Our next snowflake activity is to make paper snowflakes, which I love doing. I have a huge stack of just white printer paper because once I start doing this, it is hard for me to stop. My grandma taught me how to do this when I was a little girl and I couldn't get enough, and now I'm not so little and I still can't get enough. The first thing we need to do if you're using printer paper is to make it into a square, okay? Bring this corner up here until this side and this top line meet up. Then fold that triangle that it makes. See? Now you're going to cut this long rectangle piece off. Now we have a triangle that, when you unfold it, is a square. But we're gonna fold it back into a triangle for now. Like I said, snowflakes have 6 sides. So in order to fold our paper so we can cut it into a 6-sided snowflake, we're gonna fold this triangle into thirds. That means we're gonna make 3 sections on this paper that are the same size. So I'm gonna start by folding mine right down the middle and making a crease just as a guide. Then I'll unfold it. Now I'm gonna bring one side up over here and the other side up over here. This will create 6 equal sections on our square. Watch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And now we cut. Anything you cut on this outside will be the outside of your snowflake. Anything you cut on this very tippy point will be the very, very middle of your snowflake. And anything you cut here will be the inside design of your snowflake. One thing that's important to remember, you never want to cut off the whole side because then your snowflake will fall apart. So you can cut pieces out of here, but make sure that you always leave a little bit of paper connecting the whole thing together. I'm going to start out with a really fun, simple snowflake that you can make at home. Ready? So I'm going to start by cutting a triangle out of the middle. Then I'm going to cut kind of a crown pattern out of the very top. All right. Now, I'm gonna cut some triangles into the sides. Remember, you never want to cut the whole side off. You see how I'm leaving a little bit connected on the edges? That's what you need to do. This is the best and most fun part. Ready? Let's do it. Unfold. That's half. Cool! That little bitty triangle that we cut on the point now has 6 edges. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All those triangles we cut on the sides became the inside design. And then when we cut that crown pattern around the outside, we got this cool zigzaggy pattern on our snowflake. Well, you know I have to make some more, right? Out of hand. I just love making paper snowflakes. So far, we made a cloud in a jar, which then would make snowflakes. We made snowflakes. And for our last craft today, we're going to make something out of snow. Now, Kylee, you might be thinking, there's no snow where I am right now. How am I gonna do? Hey. With our imagination and together, we can do anything. We're gonna make some snow so we can make a snow person. Is this gonna be real snow? No. Is it gonna be super fun? Yup. We're gonna start with a pile of cornstarch. You're gonna want about 32 ounces of cornstarch for 1 can of shaving cream. I'm gonna start mixing it together. Whoa. Shaving cream smells so good. It feels so cool. I wish you could feel this. All right, this tray isn't working. Let's just get rid of it. I'm also gonna add in some glitter. You don't need to do this. I'm just adding it for beauty. Does it look like snow to you? It's not cold like snow, which is part of what makes snow really fun, but also I don't need to wear mittens. Are you ready to make a snow person? Let's do it. First, we need to form a sphere. This is so cool because it's really powdery, but you can still pack it into a ball. Whoa, love it. 1. Now we need to form another one, a little bit smaller. When I make snow people with real snow, I roll my snowball like this. Zoom, 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 zoom. And the snow sticks. But this snow you can just pick up in your hands and pack. Cool. One more? All right, a little one. Awesome. I'm gonna use some pipe cleaners to add some details to my snow person, starting with a scarf. Cute! Now a hat. How's that look? I love it. When I make snow people outside, I use branches for arms off of my tree. So I'm gonna make some little branch-like thingies with pipe cleaners. Hello! Hello! What else? Oh, a face? Good idea. What do you think we should name our little snow person? How about Snowy? I like it. Simple, basic, classic. This snow won't melt, so you can just keep playing and playing and building and building. I'm gonna make a big snowy mountain. And then I'm gonna go skiing. Or sledding. All kinds of fun things that you can do in the snow or in your imagination. Hi, it's Kylie, and I'm coming to you today in front of my Christmas tree. I love my Christmas tree. I love hanging out with you, and I love making art. So I thought today we could go up to my studio and combine all of those things and draw a Christmas tree together. Even if you don't want to draw a Christmas tree, that's okay. You can do this kind of doodling with anything. Let's go. Welcome to the studio. Let's draw. We're going to draw this Christmas tree today with just some basic shapes. That's right. If you can draw a triangle, you can draw this Christmas tree. We're going to start with a smallish triangle. There it is, 3 sides, 1, 2, 3, and 3 points. 1, 2, 3. Perfect. Now we're going to draw a medium-sized triangle. For this one though, we're just going to pretend to draw the top point. We're not actually going to push our marker down on the paper. I'll show you what I mean. Here's the bottom point. Then I'm gonna draw up, pretend to draw this part, and then draw back down. Do you see what I mean? I didn't draw the top corner. This helps the shape look like they're overlapping. Like this shape looks like it's on top of this shape. Let's do it again, this time with a big triangle. Now I'm going to use triangles to make the star at the top of my tree. I'm going to use the tiniest triangle yet, just like this. Now I'm going to draw another triangle, just as small, but I'm going to put it the other way. A star. Now that we have the main outline of our tree done, we're going to do something called Zen doodling. Isn't that funny? I love to doodle. Sometimes it helps me listen, sometimes it helps me calm down, and it always helps me when I want to draw, but I don't really know what I want to draw. Plus, it looks really cool. I'm going to draw some lines just like this. It looks awesome already. You can draw your lines however you want. Now, I'm going to fill up each section that I made with the lines with a different kind of line, design, or pattern. That's it. The sky is the limit on this one. You can imagine whatever kind of pattern, line, texture, whatever you want. What should we do next? Maybe some circles. Now I'm gonna draw some horizontal lines that are dashes. That's it. We just get to fill up all the sections of our tree with different designs. Welcome to the studio. The first part of building our gingerbread house is to imagine what we want it to look like. I'm just going to brainstorm, which means draw out a few ideas of different designs that I like. There's a job called being an architect, where you are the one who designs houses, real houses that people live in, houses and buildings and bridges even. Let's start dreaming. I think I would like my gingerbread house to have a pointed roof. I wonder if we should have another floor on our house, like an upstairs. That will be our art studio. And then we'll put some windows on the sides and stuff too. I think I also want some special decorations on the house, but we'll get to that part later. The first thing we need to do is make some plans to actually build the house. I'm gonna get out a ruler and start drawing very precise plans. This isn't just an idea now. These are plans that have measurements on them that will show me how big I actually need to make the pieces of my gingerbread house. Be right back, I'll get my ruler. Have you ever used a ruler before? Rulers help you get very exact measurements. This ruler has inches and centimeters on it. They also help you draw very straight lines so that you can get very exact drawings. I think I figured out the measurements for every single part of the gingerbread house I'm going to make. My next step is to cut out each piece of my gingerbread house out of cardstock. This will be a template that I can use when I cut the different pieces of my gingerbread salt dough. If you want to try making the same gingerbread house I'm making today, you can go online to kyliemakes.com/parents, and that's where you can find a copy of the exact same templates that I'm going to use here today. Using the measurements from my drawing, I created these template pieces for all of the gingerbread salt dough that we're going to need to cut to make our amazing gingerbread salt dough house. So excited. Remember, the gingerbread house that we're making today, you cannot eat. This one is to keep. It will stay for a long time, like a long time. But that also means that we're not going to eat any part of it. It's not good for us to eat this stuff, and it would taste nasty. So we're going to make something that's going to look like cookie dough, but it's not. It's called salt dough. And when you bake it in the oven, it gets really hard, like rocks. It's gonna be great to build our gingerbread house. here's the recipe for the salt dough. I need to make a lot of this for my house, but I'll show you just the basic recipe, and then you can make whatever you want with it. If you're gonna make a big house, you might need to make a little bit more. Just double or triple the recipe. I'm gonna start with 2 cups of flour. Then I'm gonna add 1 cup of salt. Next is the part that smells so good and is going to give us that really great gingerbread color, cinnamon. We're going to use 1/2 cup of cinnamon. Now, stir up all the ingredients while they're dry so that the color gets all mixed. Now that it's all pretty mixed up, we're gonna add in some water. I'm gonna start with 1 cup of water. Now I'm gonna stir it up. Once it's combined a little bit, you can get in there and use your hands to knead the dough together. Ooh, it feels gooey. Kinda nice though. You want your dough to end up looking like this. You don't want any extra water in there, so get it just until it'll stick together. If it's too sticky, add a little bit more flour. If it's too dry, add just a little bit of water at a time until it sticks together. I like this part. Now, just like when you're making Christmas cookies or real gingerbread, we're gonna roll it out on our table. To prevent it from sticking to the table, we're gonna add just a little bit of flour. Perfect. Now you need a rolling pin. I'm gonna roll this out to a little under 1/4 inch. I don't want it to be too thick because this is already going to have to bake a long time. The next step is to take the pieces that we need for our gingerbread house and cut them out of the dough. Pick your pieces up with a spatula or very carefully, and then put them on a baking sheet that has parchment paper on it. Put that in the oven at 200 degrees, which is pretty low. If you go higher than that, they're gonna get puffy, so keep it at 200. And then they need to bake for 3 to 4 hours. I know that's a really long time, but your house is gonna smell so good. Every hour, take it out of the oven and flip it over. After 3 or 4 hours, you wanna make sure that they're hard in the middle. I'll see you again when all of my pieces are ready to go. This is my last sheet of gingerbread salt dough. All of these pieces baked in the oven for 3 hours. 3 hours! I flipped them over every hour and they smell so good. So does my whole house. They wouldn't taste very good because, reminder, we're not eating any of this. It's not to eat, it's to keep. But they smell delicious. I let these bake for 3 hours and then I let them cool off. And now I'm so excited because it's time to put our gingerbread salt dough house together. I have been waiting for this for so long. I took my patterns and put them on top of each pile of pieces so that I can keep everything straight. I also have my model so I can show you which piece goes where. We're gonna start on the bottom and work our way up. So we need to find our lower level front and back pieces and our lower sides. We'll start there. Now, I let my salt dough sit out a little bit before I put it in the oven, and something really interesting happened. One side is dark brown, and one side is a little whiter. It's kind of cool. So I get to decide if I want the white side to be out or the dark brown side to be out. I think For the bottom level of my house, I'm gonna have the dark brown side be out. I'm gonna use hot glue to put this together, and then we're going to use something else that will look like frosting. But hot glue is what's actually going to be really strong and hold our structure together. This is kind of like the nails or screws of a house. The wall is going to connect right on this edge, so I'm going to put my glue all along the edge. Now I'm going to take my wall and attach it. Because these pieces are pretty heavy, I am going to run a strip of hot glue down each side just to support the connection. Awesome! All right, let's do the next side. Great, now it's time to put on the back wall of my house. And that's how we do it. Piece by piece, we just glue it together. Let's keep going. I love our gingerbread salt dough house. Wow. It's just like I imagined it. Don't worry when you're putting yours together if it's not perfect. Mine sure isn't. Look, there's some gaps and some things that don't quite fit exactly right. There's hot glue strings all over it. But you know what? Sometimes when we're trying so hard to make something so perfect, it isn't even any fun to make. And this gingerbread salt dough house is for you. It's for you and your family. You get to share it with them. And so the most important thing isn't how perfect this is. The most important thing is that it is fun and a good memory for you and your family. Also, don't worry how it looks right now. The next steps are what's really going to make this gingerbread salt dough pop. The next step is to put some frosting on it. I'll go get what we're gonna use. Be right back. It's time to frost our house. I'm going to be using white latex sealant. You can buy it in tubes like this or in tubes like this. Ready? I think it looks so amazing. Do you like it? Oh, you can't see it. I covered it up for a big reveal. Are you ready? Okay. Ready? Isn't it awesome? The best news is it's not even finished yet. We haven't even put any candy on it. And that is one of the most fun parts of making a gingerbread house. I can't wait to show you how we're going to make the pretend candy for this pretend gingerbread house. Before we do that, I need you to look me right in the eyes. Are you looking at me? Okay. The candy we're about to make looks really real, but it's not. We're going to make it out of polymer clay. So before I show you how to do it and before we get started, you need to look in my eyes and promise me that if you're making this at home, you're gonna make it with a grown-up and you can't put anything in your mouth. Deal? Okay. I'm so excited to show you. I'm gonna grab my polymer clay and let's get started. The first thing we're gonna do is make some candy canes. So I'm gonna take a block of white and a block of red. I'm just kneading it so it's pretty soft. And then I'm going to roll it into a coil. Now I'm going to roll out my white. Perfect. Now I'm going to roll these together gently. This is my favorite part, the twisting. Ready? I'm gonna cut this strip so that all my candy canes are about the same size. You're just going to take your little candy cane strip and bend over the top. Awesome. Now I'm gonna show you how to make a round peppermint. Take a ball of white, put it down, and flatten it into a circle. Then you can just take little balls of red clay and put it along the outside. And now I'm going to fill in the gaps with white. So it goes red, white, red, white, red, white, red, white. Then I'm just going to squish them in toward each other and then give it a really gentle roll. Smush, smush, smush. And a peppermint. Let's try to make a lollipop. All you really need to make a lollipop is a coil. And start wrapping it in a circle, like this. And then you have the candy part of your lollipop. You can use a toothpick for the stick of your lollipop. I'm cutting the soft part off of Q-tips. Stick that in there. And there you go. Now I'm going to show you how to make a chocolate chip or a Hershey Kiss. I have my coil and I'm going to cut it about this big. Now that I have my sections, take one, roll it into a ball. Put it flat on your table and press the sides down. Pick up your Hershey Kiss or your chocolate chip and squeeze the very, very top into a point. You see it? Then all you're gonna do is take that top and bend it over, just like that. A perfect chocolate chip. Wanna make a gumdrop? Okay. To make a gumdrop look like a real gumdrop, we need a couple extra things besides our Sculpey clay. We need liquid bakeable clay. This is a polymer clay that bakes just like this, except that it comes in a liquid form. It kind of looks like glue. You need some white craft sand. This will end up looking like the sugar on the outside of your gumdrop. A paintbrush and a plate or something to put your sand in. I'm gonna make my first gumdrop orange. Roll it into a ball, put it on your table, and then shape it into a gumdrop shape, which is kind of like a bell. We're gonna take our liquid Sculpey, which I just poured a little bit out on my plate, and cover our gumdrop with it. And roll our gumdrop in the sand. Doesn't it look exactly like a gumdrop you could eat? But we're not going to, right? Right. I wonder what other candies you could come up with to make yourself. If you come up with some awesome candies, I definitely want to see them. So ask a grown-up if it's okay if they would post a picture of the candy that you made and tag me. Kylee makes it. I would love to see what you're making with your polymer clay and get some ideas from you too. I'm gonna sculpt a little bit more and then put all of my fake candy onto a cookie sheet and bake it in my oven. Different polymer clay bakes for different times and different temperatures, so follow the instruction on the polymer clay that you're using for how long your clay needs to bake. When all the pieces are done, I'm gonna bring them back here to the studio and we're gonna decorate our gingerbread house, which will be the final step. I can't wait to see what we make together. I gotta get sculpting. Our pretend candy is all ready to go. I love how it looks. What candy looks the most real, do you think? I still think the gumdrops look really real, but probably my favorite thing that we made are these lollipops. Now it's time to decorate our gingerbread house. I have another tube of sealant to add a little bit of icing if I want to, even though there's so much icing on this house already. And I'm going to attach all my candy with hot glue. Are you ready? This is the part I've been so excited for. Ta-da! I love it. I think it looks so amazing. What's your favorite part? Today, for this quick craft, I'm going to show you a fun project that you can do with any of your leftover wrapping paper. Or if you don't have wrapping paper, any kind of paper will work. Printer paper, construction paper, scrapbook paper, you name it. Today, for this quick craft, we're going to make paper beads. I'm going to use this wrapping paper that Dax picked out at the store. It's Santa sharks eating donuts and gingerbread cookies and bringing presents and holding candy canes. Here's some examples of the paper beads that we're going to be making together today. And then I think we should make a necklace or a bracelet. Let's do it. This is super easy and super fun. My grandma used to do this with me when I was a little girl. You can either cut it with scissors, or if you have a grown-up, they can help you and you can use an X-Acto knife. I'm gonna use my ruler. Be very careful because it's very sharp. And I'm gonna cut a long triangle out of the paper, just like that. If you don't have an X-Acto or a parent with you, use a scissors. That definitely works too. A long triangle. It doesn't need to be perfect. Awesome. Now you're gonna flip your triangles over so the colorful side is on the back. I'm gonna use these straws for this project. If you wanna make beads that have a smaller middle, use like a stir stick for coffee, or if you don't have a straw, that's totally okay. You can make them around a pencil and then slide them off. The straw just helps make it a little bit stronger and sometimes a little bit easier to string if you have little fingers. Okay, I'm gonna start with a little piece of tape. I'm gonna tape the very edge to my straw, just like that. Now that I have that attached, I'm gonna take some glue. And you don't need a ton, but you're just going to make small little dots of glue all along your triangle. All the way to the end. And then roll it up. You want to keep it in the center as much as you can so that the bead gets wider in the middle. You can experiment with different shapes of paper, different lengths of paper, different widths of paper to get different shapes of beads. Smooth the last part over and ta-da! Let's do this one. you might be saying, Kylee, that doesn't look like a bead. Don't worry, we're almost there. I like to add a little bit of glue to the outside of my beads too, just to make sure they hold together. So I put a little bit of glue and then I just smear it with my finger, just coating the whole outside. You can use Mod Podge for this part too. If you want, you can use a glossy Mod Podge and then that'll make your beads nice and shiny. Another way to do that is to use a varnish. This is a gloss varnish. So put on your glue, let that dry. If you want to add some shiny varnish or Mod Podge, let that dry. I just keep it on the straw for that part and put it in a piece of styrofoam like that. Just holds them right up while they dry. Then, once they're all dry, you're just going to take your scissors or have an adult help you and trim the straw. Ta-da! Perfect! I made these with different sizes and shapes of paper so that they all look a little different. It is so fun to experiment with this. Let's put this together into a bracelet. I'm gonna use this kind of string. You can use any kind of string you have. I'm gonna start by tying one bead onto the end to hold everything in place. Then I don't need to worry about it falling off. I tied that one on. And now I'm gonna thread this string through all of my beads. Put it right through the hole and pull. Let's keep going. I was gonna make a bracelet, but now that they're all on, it looks like more the length of a necklace. Ta-da! I hope you have so much fun making your paper beads. I hope that you wear them with style, or better yet, give them to somebody else as a present that you made just for them.